So most Europeans, when they think about Hungary, they think about a beautiful country with wonderful people, with an interesting culture and interesting history. But then they also think, what the fuck? So to know what's going on in the political world today in Hungary, we need to go back through the history of the country. We need to know that Hungary was actually a part of the Habsburg monarchy for a very, very long time. And inside of the monarchy, they always wanted to have more autonomy, although it was kind of shitty for the nationalities that were under Hungarian rule, because they didn't want to give the other nationalities the same rights that they wanted. So the central power inside of the monarchy was actually in Vienna. So we need to take into account the revolution of 1848, when the Hungarians wanted more autonomy from the Austrians to govern their own part. But as I said, they didn't care a lot about other nationalities. And then as the revolution unfolded, almost every European nation sent their troops to beat down the Hungarian Revolution. And a big role in crushing the Hungarian Revolution was actually the Russian army that was sent there. In the Second World War, the Hungarians got their autonomy, but they were actually a puppet state for the Germans as the Second World War unfolded, and the Soviets swept the east. As most of the Hungarian literature suggests, Hungary was actually occupied by the Soviets, not liberated. So after the Second World War, Hungary was under the Warsaw Pact, under the direct control of Stalin, Moscow, and so on. Now you can see where I'm getting. First they were under Vienna, then they were under Moscow, and now there's a big clump of European states, and the center is also outside of Hungary. It's not like Hungarians don't like the EU. It's not like Hungarians don't understand that they benefit from the European Union. I think that they just have another vision of the Europe, where they just want more autonomy. They just see another model or another possibility how to form the European Union. And that's what most Europeans don't get. They just want more autonomy. They want more rights to make laws inside of Hungary. And as I said, after the Second World War, they were under the Warsaw Pact. And it wasn't also chill under the Warsaw Pact, because in 1956 they also started a revolution under Imre Nagy. As the revolution unfolded, the West just sat there quietly. They didn't want to intervene. A famous sentence from that revolution is Ruski Kazo. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, but it means Russians go home or Russians out. So the Soviets just went there with tanks, with army, and crushed the revolution. It ended in approximately 3,000 dead, 3,000 civilian deaths, 13,000 wounded, and approximately 200,000 left to the west. In Osijek, or as the Hungarians call it, Essek, in Slavonia in Croatia, there's also a statue that commemorates the Hungarians that fled to Croatia and then went to Western country. And a lot of Europeans forget that Orban and Fidesz, yes, it is a right-wing party, but it's actually center-right. So the actual real right party in Hungary is actually Jobbik. And Jobb means literally right in Hungarian. So there's a lot of surveys inside of Europe, what Europeans think about the European Union. I'm just going to quote a survey from 2018. So one of the questions that were asked in that survey was, has your country benefited while being a member of the EU? And actually approximately 71 to 80% of Hungarians answered with yes, they think Hungary and the people of Hungary benefited through the membership in the EU. And the second question in that survey that I also wanted to talk about is, if you had a national referendum right now, would you vote to join the EU? So would you like Hungary to join the EU if Hungary wasn't in the EU and you needed to cast your ballot? And actually approximately 61 to 70% of Hungarians said, yeah, they would vote to join the EU. So it's not like Hungarians don't like the EU, they just have another concept, what the EU should look like and what they want from the EU. And yeah, that are my thoughts about Hungary. and the European Union. If you're Hungarian, I would like to hear from you down in the comments if you agree or disagree with me. And I would also like to see the take of other Europeans, what they think about Hungary and their position now, and if they understand Hungary or their positions now more that they know a little bit about their background and history. So yeah, see ya.